I want to introduce you all to Dr. Hilary. She is in Canada right now. She is a clinical psychologist, holistic parenting mentor with a specialization in nutritional and environmental medicine. She is the author of the Motherhood Reset, which we'll talk more about, yoga teacher, and she also hosts a fun podcast called Wild and Well, which I'm kind of obsessed with that title. And she is also a mom of two little boys. And her main area of expertise is helping new moms move out of that exhaustion and depletion and overwhelm, especially in those early stages of motherhood. And knows the drill, right? She's a mother herself of two littles. And this is something I was like, I'm going to come visit you in Australia when you make it back there. So she divides her time between out in Canada. And I love this. It feels so dreamy. Like, I divide my time between the beaches of Australia and the cottage country of Canada, which is like the best of both worlds, I bet. Yes, and we have a lot in common. We love to write and bake. And so someday we are going to bake together. Hilary, that is my goal, that we'll get to bake together and chat about all things. So welcome. Let's head right into it. Did I miss anything? Anything that you want to add to share about yourself or all the things?
No, I think I'll just add that maybe it sounds dreamy being in cottage country, but in winter, it's like, maybe not quite as dreamy. The beaches are better at that time.
Right. I'm sure someone visiting you for like 3 days in the wintry wonderland, like that's so magical, but you're like, try living in it. It's not the same.
Yeah.
That is so great. Excuse me. Okay. So we're going to launch right into postnatal depletion. We haven't heard a lot about the word depletion. I feel like until recently it's come up like in a lot of things that I've been reading. So tell us a little bit more just the definition and like the kind of extremes of that.
Yeah, it is quite a new term, postnatal depletion. I think we often think about postnatal depression and other postnatal anxiety and different things like that. But I think postnatal depletion resonates with a lot more women because it covers, it's more broad and it is a lot more I guess actionable. Like there's so much more you can do with it. So it's a term that was developed by a doctor over in Australia in New South Wales, actually not far from where we live part of the time. And it's a term that describes like an accumulation of symptoms. So the symptoms might be hypervigilance, anxiety, low mood, really low energy, overwhelm, indecision, so many different things like that. And there isn't just one cause for postnatal depletion, but it's something that can creep into new moms' lives weeks, months, and even years down the track after having their kids. And the causes are generally things like there's nutritional and physical causes, like actually being depleted of nutrients is a huge one. Not being able to absorb foods probably because you maybe have like gut issues, which is unfortunately really common. And there's a number of other physical and nutritional causes. There's societal causes like really high expectations that we have of mothers to be super mom. Like I hate that term super mom because it just keeps moms stuck, right? That they're stuck in either trying to attain that or they're feeling like failures because they're not. There are practical reasons that lead mothers to be postnatally depleted, such as having kids at an older age, not having parents around to help them, not having that village that we all crave, whether that's family or friends or anybody. So many moms are doing this alone. And that leads to stress. That then leads to using up more of those nutrients, more of our energy, and making us more depleted. So postnatal depletion is all these things caused by so many different factors. And it's leading mothers to have brains and bodies that are actually depleted of nutrients, are stressed out, and are often inflamed. So their bodies and their brains are in a stressed out state and they're not working as well. And unfortunately, it's so common. And I mentioned a few causes there, but there are so many. So no mother is going to have the exact same cause, but there's so many different factors that can lead moms to experience this.
Yeah. And I feel like in the most simplest terms, if you're not eating and drinking water and sleeping, you don't live, right? And so once we start cutting back on some of those important things that we're not getting enough of, the water and important nutrients within that food that we're taking in, like, of course, we're going to not be able to really even just feel okay, right?
Mhm. Yeah, those are such key things. And often it starts with those foundations, like good food, good water, and sleep. And those are big things for new moms. Like sleep deprivation is such a common thing that stresses the body out further. It doesn't mean that you're going to become depleted, but it is a risk factor.
Right. So you would probably say it's what percentage of moms do you think are probably depleted? I would think majority.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the Western
Right.
world, probably the majority. Like
Yeah.
I think I'm biased because I work with that population. So every mom I work with like struggles with this. But
Yeah.
even when I look at friends and family and look at the stats, like there aren't amazing stats out there, but it's really common. Like they suggest at least 1 in 5 suffers from depression or anxiety. But I imagine postnatal depletion is probably way higher than that. So I would say the majority. It seems like the majority. Yeah,
Yeah.
just the way our society's set up. We have set society up in a way that isn't supportive of moms, right? It's not helpful for them. So we're already going against the system and we're not supported and motherhood isn't really valued how it should be. So it's unfortunately just really common.
Yeah. We're working so hard to change that. And I think it, unfortunately has to start with us, right? And advocating for ourselves and then spreading the word even farther from mom to mom to mom to mom to mom to family to partners to, all those who are in our support system. So if it is up to us for now, if our doctor's not going to, our, if we get one, a first postnatal visit for ourselves, right? If we get one and we're not receiving information other than like, oh, you're good to go. You can I don't know, have sex now, or you can go, it's 6 weeks, you can go work out, right? We're not really given all the things that I think we need to hear. What are some of those things that we need to hear? Because you're saying like, it goes years beyond just that early, postpartum stage. So how can we set ourselves up for success in some of those first steps that we can make to move out of, whether prepping to not move fully into that space of overwhelm and exhaustion. Like, yes, where our bodies went through a lot giving birth and taking care of a human. And so, as if you go through any massive, even like surgery or whatever, like it's going to take a toll on our bodies and there's going to be some exhaustion there. But how do we not move past that? But how do we work through that and, maybe overcome some of that?
Yeah, well, I think there's two things here. I think there's one, if we know about this, that this is normal, or maybe not normal, but super common, that it almost seems normal for moms to be burnt out and depleted. If we know that going into pregnancy, there's so much we can do. So we can look at ensuring that we have adequate nutrients because we're generally eating an excess of calories, but we're not eating the right nutrients or we're not absorbing adequate nutrients. So if you're preparing for pregnancy, you can get nutrients tested by an integrative doctor. Some traditional doctors will test like nutrients as well. So looking at a number of vitamins, looking at your thyroid functioning, looking at hormones and getting that. So you know where you're starting and then you can take steps to address individual issues. I wouldn't want to have everybody just go out and take a crazy amount of supplements because maybe they don't need them. But if you can find out what you need, you can start shifting your diet and supplements if that works for you to help your particular situation. And then also prenatally, or if you're in pregnancy, you can start to set up supports around you, hire a doula, hire somebody to make food for you so you can fill your freezer, or do that yourself, or have friends set up a meal train. You can start working on your own psychological challenges. So if anxiety or depression is something that you've noticed that you've struggled with in the past, we'll start addressing it, start working with somebody, start reading books that can help you, start journaling, start a gratitude practice, start getting clear on what your expectations and beliefs are around motherhood as soon as you can, so you can start to be aware of those when they come up and not just be automatically driven by them, but you can make a decision whether you want those to lead your decisions and your actions or not. So the more that you can do before the postnatal time, the better, from all aspects of the psychological, the physical and nutritional, and even those practical issues. But most of us, it seems, we find ourselves in this position and then we're kind of crawling back from it.
Right.
So there is, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say be proactive, but there's so many other things going on in our lives at that time that it's often hard to do so. So we don't necessarily take action until things are hard and we realize, like, wow, we really need to do something. But we can do all those things that I said. You can go to your doctor postpartum, whether it's 6 months, a year, 10 years down the track. You can go and find out, okay, where am I at? Do I have any thyroid issues, hormonal imbalances? What are my nutritional data? What does it look like? What do I need more of? And start working there. Start bringing in healthy meals, whether it is that you're making them, that you're asking other people to, or you're buying them from the shops, whatever. So supporting yourself through good food and prioritizing your sleep. I know people hate it when people say sleep when your baby sleeps, but I do it. Like the laundry isn't as important. And I know it's so hard not to do that, but even if you just do it for a few weeks, it's like, that is life-changing. You suddenly feel so much better. And then you have the capacity to do that laundry, right? Or not. Or get help with that laundry, even if it is temporarily.
Advocate for yourself and have other people throw some loads in. And even if they're not folded, they're clean and they're accessible. That's fine too. Like, let's stop worrying about doing all the things that are, yes, eventually maybe necessary in life, but not as important for this stage. Like, let's take care of you. Take care of you. Yeah.
And something that we often forget when we are postpartum is that we have needs too. We focus so much on our baby's needs, which is necessary, but we forget about ourselves, and society forgets about us. Our doctors forget about us. Everybody does. Everybody's focused on the baby. So we need to get clear on what we're feeling. We need to get clear on what we need, which our emotions often can help us to figure out what we need, because sometimes you don't know. And then from there, we can start to get those needs met, whether we sit down and have a break, or we let the laundry go and ask for help with it, or whatever it is that your needs are. Start getting clear on those. It's life-changing, because it might just be like, oh my goodness, I'm really thirsty. I just need a glass of water. It can be that simple, or it can be a lot more complex, that you need supports coming in and helping you, or you need to go to health professionals and get help. But getting clear on what you're feeling, getting clear on what you need changes everything, because then you can start advocating for those, asking for those, rather than like being resentful of your partner or other people because you're not getting your needs met. You can actually just ask for them or get your needs met yourself. So then it doesn't lead to like that resentment and all that other stuff that often happens.
Right. And I feel like that's come up a lot in the other episodes, is, you finally get to that point where you're just, I got to that point where I was just screaming for help. Like, I can't actually physically and mentally do this on my own anymore. And it didn't need to get to that point where I broke, right? It was like, let's prevent getting to that point where it's like, you think all is lost. You talk about the 10 negotiables for mothers to get their energy back. So tell us about some of those. I like how it's very clear these are non-negotiable. And sometimes you just need someone to like sit you down and be like, listen, here are 10 non-negotiables. So no work, no excuses, do these things. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so this is something that I have a second book coming out very shortly, and it's all about these 10 things. We go into more detail in there, but this is these 10 non-negotiables. They're broken down into like the basics,
Yeah.
your environment and your mindset. So the basics are food. We need to be eating really good food and getting rid of the stuff that is depleting us, because there are actual foods that are taking away nutrients from us.
Right.
And we just don't need that at any point in our life, but especially when we're postnatally depleted or just postnatal and you're trying to replenish your stores. Then there's sleep, and that is how can we improve our sleep? So is that going to bed 10 minutes earlier? Is that actually sleeping when the baby sleeps? Is that doing maybe a yoga nidra, which is similar to being in that state of sleep in your brain, but you're not actually sleeping, because sometimes we can't just quickly have a nap, but we can do things to supplement our sleep.
Yeah.
And then the third basic is movement. And it's not about going and doing a marathon, but it's about moving your body in ways that are supportive of you and where you are in your postnatal experience. So those things are the basics. And then environment is really important too. So that's building your community, getting rid of toxins in your environment, because stress is such a big factor in all our lives, and particularly in postnatal depletion. It can lead to that inflammation and that depletion in our bodies. But stress isn't just from what we're thinking or the busyness of life, but it's also what we're exposed to. So looking at like cleaning products, looking at opening your windows and letting fresh air in, looking at like the body products that you're using, the personal care products, getting rid of anything that has like fragrance in it, synthetic fragrance at least.
Mm-hmm.
And those things can reduce the burden on your body. So you can naturally have more energy because your body's just working better, because it's not taking that energy and those nutrients to get rid of that stuff, because that takes a lot of energy from our bodies and those things are hard on them. So getting rid of that is really useful. And then getting out in nature is so useful. So those are like the three components of environment in the 10 non-negotiables. And getting out in nature, it can just be standing outside and having your coffee in the morning, or it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to like drive an hour, go to the beach. Just make it simple. Make those little micro shifts in your life to set yourself up to get the movement, get the healthy food, get outside, have sunlight on your face and your eyes to help get your body into like a natural rhythm. So it's easier to fall asleep at night. And then the final component is mindset. So this is gratitude, relaxation, mindfulness, and play. And it's building those things into your life. So a gratitude can just simply be at dinner time, telling each other what you're grateful for. That's it. You can just start there. Mindfulness is when you're with your baby, like set down your phone and just focus on your baby for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be, I have to be 100% focused on my baby all day long. That's totally unrealistic, but just building a practice in that one time in your day, you're going to be present and just notice what's going on around you, or notice this conversation that we're having.
Right.
Relaxation, that can look like so many different things. It can be breathing and taking a longer exhale. It can be doing a whole hour yoga class. It can be doing Tai Chi, even things like gargling, which sound really weird for relaxation, but it switches on your vagus nerve and helps to calm your nervous system if you do things like gargling or humming. So building these things into your day, can you just hum?
You literally just hum and stretch, and like the amount of results and feeling that can come from that is kind of phenomenal, right? Like it's don't
phenomenal.
Need to do, oh, I need to go for a 3-mile run or whatever. It's like do something, and that's going to lead towards feeling better, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I talk a lot about like little small changes you can make. I call them the micro shifts because
Yeah.
it's just, can you hum while you make your coffee in the morning?
Mhm.
Amazing. That can be the switch that you need to just calm yourself in that moment. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, yeah, that 3 mile run. So it's about how can you make these small changes and bring these 10 non-negotiables into your day and your life. So you're setting yourself up to thrive. So you're setting yourself up just to have more energy naturally without doing anything massive. And the last component is play. I find play is like a barometer that I use because often when we are postnatally depleted and really in it, like we have no playfulness, we have no sense
Yeah.
of humor, right? That's all
Yeah.
gone. So it's a good check-in to be like, where am I on a
Right.
on play? But then also bringing play in because I think we forget about it. And it is such an important part of nourishing ourselves because we all need it. It's not just kids who need play. So how can you bring little pockets of joy? For me, it's often just turning music on when I'm cooking. Like that simple. It's not that I go out and do imaginative play by myself for an hour or take a art class. Those are great, but often it is those little things like we're
Yeah.
talking about, just putting music on and having half an hour of music playing. Great, that's play for me. I dance a little bit while I'm making, and that's just like brings that side out of me, helps relax my body, helps bring more joy to my life. I have more energy instantly. I'm a better mom because of it. All these things impact each other.
Mm.
So, yeah, if people can just look at those 10 non-negotiables and think, okay, where am I motivated to start or what seems doable?
Mhm.
Do that. If it is, okay, I'm going to go outside today for 5 minutes at lunchtime. Amazing. Start there, but just start incorporating these into your days and you'll naturally start moving through that postnatal depletion. Obviously, there's other things that can be bigger that you might need to work on as well, but these
Sure.
things could really be life-changing.
Yeah. And it's about starting somewhere and doing something, right? And then if you need more or you discover that like this isn't helping, maybe I need a little bit more help or I have more questions or more support in a certain area, those will come up, right? But I mean, in so many different areas, we even talked about, when you have DR and a doctor's like, oh, well, you need surgery to fix that. And you're like, well, I'm going to like maybe take these steps of feeling better and of, working on maybe closing it myself. And then, we'll go to the next step if that's not working, but like start somewhere and follow, like you talk about your gut instincts, follow what you feel like. Let me stop. Let me think. What do I need? Right. Because we're like, baby, 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 life, husband, work, this. What's my body doing? I don't know what's happening. Right. And it can get very, very cloudy and very exhausting. And I loved we talked to, and so much of what you're saying is in alignment with so many of what all these other experts are saying, and I really love how it just hones it in, like environment, what's going on around you, what's going on inside of you, and if you feel like something's really wrong with baby, like address those, you know what I mean? And not just maybe accept what you're Googling or what your friend tells you, I think we're born with, those instincts for a reason. And I think when we're helping take care of ourselves, then I think we're going to be even more in tune, with those instincts. So what is it that we just need to just let go of? The modern day mom, like you said, super mom has to do it all. Superheroes are not real life, right? You can be a super person and and you deserve the title of, super mom just from becoming a mom. That's like, it feels like a superpower, right? But you mentioned how we use that title and think that maybe it means doing all the things, being all the things. It's time to let go of all of that, right? I think it's hard. How do we do that in a world where you look next door and you assume so and so's doing all the things. I don't even know how she's holding it together, or social media, right? We're getting better. We're getting better. And I've seen it come in the last decade. Like, it's come a long way, right? With people putting themselves out there and being honest about what this, stage looks like. But I think we can get very lost in the raw honesty of it, right? So what are more of those things, like kind of beyond the laundry and the dishes and whatever, that we just need to just release?
I think we do have to get clear on what our beliefs are around being a good mom, because
Mhm.
I think there are general ones that we in our society tend to believe, but I think it's about getting clear on what those are for you. So writing those down, like, oh, a good mom is someone who does do it all by themselves. Okay, maybe that is one for me, but maybe that isn't for you.
Yeah.
Good moms always put their kids' needs before their own. Whatever it is, start writing those down and get really clear on what your good mom beliefs are. And write it down and then go through your day, go through your week, and start noticing other ones that come up, because often the ones that impact us are the beliefs that are so subconscious that we don't automatically know it and write it down.
Yeah.
So notice, why am I feeling so strongly about this? Why am I doing this thing that isn't really working and I'm really pushing? Like, is there a belief under this? And get clear on those and write them down. And then once they're written down, you have that visual of them, there's so much more we can do with them. So with those beliefs, then look at them and ask yourself, where did this belief come from? It probably didn't come from you. It probably came from your childhood, from society, from the media, from social media, from a health professional saying something to you, from your own family. So get clear as much as possible of where you think that belief probably came from. And then ask yourself, is this a belief that is helpful for me? Is it helpful for me to use this belief to make my decisions, to take action and have this direct me? Maybe it is. Some beliefs are super useful. Great, keep it. If
Yeah.
it isn't, recognize that and say, okay, no, always putting everybody else's needs before me isn't helpful. I'm burnt out. I can't even meet their needs now because I'm so
Right.
tired. Not helpful.
Doesn't
Great.
serve anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So then from there, notice when that comes up, because you do this once and it's just like, oh, I've let go of that belief that's been with me for 35
Yeah.
years. Great.
Yeah.
But then from there, you can notice when that belief comes up. Oh, I notice I'm trying to put everyone's needs before my own again. Okay, let's check in. Is there one thing I can do for me right now to like include me in that, and then do that? So you start taking actions to shift that belief. And over time, every time you catch yourself having those beliefs or being led by them, check in. Do I want this to lead me this time? No? Okay. What am I going to do? Let's do something else. And over time, that checking in, that awareness, and that taking action can start to shift those beliefs. But it's a practice. It doesn't happen once. Sometimes it does. There's certain beliefs we can get clear on and be like, whoa, that's my belief. That is so unhelpful. And we can easily let it go from having that awareness. But a lot of the time, it does take a bit of practice and a bit of like actually putting more useful steps in place. And it can also be helpful for unhelpful expectations and beliefs to even create a new belief. It might be like
Right.
my needs matter just as much as other people's, or I need to meet my own needs in order to meet my children's. Whatever it is, based on whatever the belief is,
Mhm.
you can just remind yourself of that. And it's almost like a mantra that can be like really helpful in those moments as well. But other things we need to let go of are like old identities.
Yeah.
There might be identities that
Yeah.
you had before having kids that you don't care about anymore. Like, let that go. And I find a useful way to do that is writing a letter to that identity
Mhm.
and talking up to it in a really kind way, telling it like how it served you, what it did for you, and
Mhm.
why you don't need to carry it forward into your present and into your future. And then reading that letter, I don't know, every month or 2 months or 6 months can be useful.
Yeah.
But
Reminders. Yeah.
there's so many things to let go of, like perfectionism. Like, we need to let go of that. We
Yeah.
need to let go of doing everything ourselves. We need to let go of busyness. We need to let go of foods that aren't supporting our bodies. We need to let go of being on our phones so much.
Hmm.
There's endless things we need to let go of, but noticing what it is that you find doable to let go of, and you think, whoa, I really need to. Like maybe it is beliefs, or maybe it is old identities of I stay up late and I'm a night owl, and you realize you're not getting any sleep. So you got to let go of that belief, because that's just like not serving you in this phase of life. Maybe that's where you start. So it's noticing, what do you need to let go of in this moment, and working from there. But that looks different for all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Putting our sleep ahead of binge watching that show, right? Thinking like, but this is my time and I deserve it. And I think you will most benefit from your time when you are depleted to fill it with sleep and fill it with foods your body needs, right? Because then how do you feel the next day when you're up till 2 a.m.,
Mhm.
And then
And
you
that's
get,
a belief maybe we need to
yeah,
change, that like
yeah,
me time means staying up late and watching TV. Like maybe me time is getting sleep. Maybe that's the best me time in this moment, right?
yeah,
Or maybe taking care of myself isn't staying up late and eating whatever I want because like I'm being kind to myself. Maybe that's not actually being kind to yourself. And you need to change that belief to being kind to myself and taking care of myself is
right,
feeding myself nourishing food.
right.
Like, but the beliefs don't, there's so many beliefs that we have, and they're
Mhm.
not just societal ones. They can be little ones like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that we create on our own, or like you said, from our environment, from childhood, there's so many different factors. So it's important to break those all down and to really, look at them. And again, it doesn't have to take, you don't have to spend 2 hours like, okay, what's my belief system? What I'm going to write down, I'm going to be in this space, right? We don't have time for that. You sit down, 5, 10 minutes, be like, this is this, and you come back to it and you start to like work on and work through those things. It's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
I find it's useful to have it in your phone or like in a notebook. And then when you're out, you can just be like, oh, that came up. I didn't never thought about that one. Just write it
Right.
down. So
Yeah.
it's not taking, maybe it's taking 10 seconds, but
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, we don't have like a day to go to a workshop about this, right?
Right. Yeah. But I find that, and if you're too lost and confused in it, um, reach out to someone like you that like could help you break it down and work through these things, right? We could reach out to someone that, maybe you're someone who like, I need more science-backed information for it to like really sink in and matter to me. You know what I mean? Some people are like that. And I think there's resources out there, there's people out there like you who could really break things down and support them through their journey and their process and really coming back to themselves, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being with us, Dr. Hilary Claire. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the information. You guys are going to love her website as well. Check out her information, check out her books. Stay tuned for her second book coming out. She's offering us a free couple meditations that are really cool. It's meditation surrounding creating a reality that supports you to move through and out of this, survival mode that we tend to be in, especially in these early stages of motherhood, and can help you. I think what you talk a lot about your mindset, and making those changes. And I have some clients that are like, we end our class with meditation and they're just like, I can't. And I was like, you can, and you should. It's so important. Even the short 30-second, like minute ones, just coming back to ourselves and right and breathing. And again, that's something that, is a practice. And I think once we, practice more meditation, practice more mindfulness, we're going to really reap the benefits from it. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing all the doctors saying.
Yeah. And it's often easier to start with a guided meditation. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to just be like, okay, sit and be with your thoughts and your
No,
breath.
100%. Yeah. All those guided meditations, like just tell me when to breathe and how to breathe. And then now tell me what we're thinking about, right? Like and you read these meditations, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the two meditations, they're more
Yeah.
like visualizations about like getting clear on like what you want for your future. So what does that thriving you look like? And then when you're really clear on that through these meditations, you can start taking those little micro steps to become that person.
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying, because your voice is very calming and it's very, like it's present. And anyway, so I think you guys will love it. You get to hear Hilary's voice and telling you and working through all those things with you. So thank you so much for offering that gift to all the people on our show that are opted in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If they need to reach out and if they have any questions for you, maybe about a book, maybe something that came up for them during this episode, what's the best way to reach out? We head to your website, shoot an email. What's the best way to be like, hey, Dr. Hilary?
Yeah, either like Instagram, Dr. Hilary Claire, or my website, Dr. Hilary Claire, or email hello@drhilaryclaire.com. Any of those people can get in contact with me. And yeah, I'm totally open to like chat. And if anybody needs any support, I'm here.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Of course. Hilary's got you, Mama. That's how we've been ending our episode. We got you. We got you, Mama. Dr. Hilary Claire, thank you so much for joining us today. And we really appreciate you and all the work you do to support moms and families. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.